Good evening. We're going to give us a minute where we've got some people logging in here, and then we will get started. I hope everyone has a cocktail. Elaine Boyd, I love seeing your pretty face there.
Yeah, I just saw Kathleen. She had a hat on and was sitting outside with a glass of wine.
Oh, I love it.
Real Kathleen. Yay.
Hey, everyone.
Everybody. Okay, I'm going to ask everybody for, and Kathy, if you don't mind taking your video down for just a second. We're going to do videos off and microphones muted for the first part, and then we will allow everyone to come on and ask questions. But thank everyone for joining us tonight. The Women's Political Collaborative loves hosting these kind of events, and we are so lucky that Sarah Lee Woods is a member and is so good about moderating this for us. Thank you, Karen, for joining us tonight, and I cannot wait. These are always my favorite, is when we talk about multiple books. Sarah Lee, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can go from here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Lee Terry Woods, and I get to do fun video book reviews for Bookman Bookwoman, and it is my honor to have my friend Karen Hayes, the co-owner of my very favorite bookstore, Parnassus Books, on with us today, and she's going to give us ideas for what to get for holiday givings, and she's going to talk us through about what it's like to be a small business owner in a locally owned bookstore during the time of a pandemic. So, Karen, since March, what's been going on down the road at Parnassus?
Oh, we closed in March, and I think it was March. Time has just flown by, and we only opened 3 to 4 weeks ago. Our online sales have become so big. I've got a great business partner in Ann Patchett, and she really started doing a lot of social media, and it really got a lot of attention. We got some national media, and then our social media has grown, and we've gotten a lot of people ordering from all over the U.S. Online. So we have become a shipping center, and it was really hard to kind of balance that. We went through a couple of waves of business. Initially, it seemed like everybody was kind of hoarding books. Initially, there were these big orders that came in when we closed, which was fantastic. It was a real supportive outwave of orders for us. And of course, we were short-staffed, but so we were all behind the scenes, just basically everybody, all hands on deck, shipping books. But we were able to keep our staff employed because we did get the PPP loan. So we kept, even if we gave the option for people to stay home if they felt more safe with that. So we went through that for about 2 or 3 months, and then in June we started doing curbside, and then in June Rodney King, not Rodney King. We had a lot of problems that came to the fore, and all the protests and things like that, and the anti-racist books just became huge for us. I mean, there was a huge flood of books that we could not actually fill orders for because the publishers were caught short. So we went through about a month and a half of trying to get stock and fill those orders, and people were great and patient to get those books to them. Again, we couldn't open our doors because we were shipping so many books. And we actually took that money. I didn't feel good about like making money on that, making a profit off a huge amount. So Ann and I both agreed, and we gave our profits to that to Gideon's Army here in Nashville. They've been doing really good work for a long time, but just keep growing in their in recognition in what they do. And then we had some really great local authors that weren't even on our radar that decided to do pre-order campaigns. They're actually not known for being authors. They're podcasters and, more social influencers, big on social media. Jesse James Decker and Lauren Atkins and the biggest one was The Good Fight, by this couple that have this podcast that is known all over the US and Canada. And most of the orders we got, we shipped out into other states and into Canada. And that was thousands of copies of books. So we've been really
Wow.
lucky to have all that, but it was very frustrating that we couldn't let our customers in the door during this time when the numbers were lower. But it finally died down, and we were able to open our doors, like I said, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we've been very, very careful. We take temperatures as people come in. We limit it to 10, 15 if it, seems like there's a family group that kind of takes up that whole 10. But 10 to 15 people at a time, 20 minutes, we ask people to stay, and it's worked pretty smoothly so far. But we're concerned about going into the holidays. We've taken over the middle of the store where we normally can open up for events and have a shipping center there, because we can't cram it all back in the back of the store anymore. So when you walk in, it looks a little different. There's, they were just shipping books from the middle of the store.
I was there today, and it's the first time I've been in months, and I noticed the shipping center that you have there, and did the temperature. Of course, I had my mask on and the hand sanitizer. And boy, the 20 minutes was hard because, you just, when you want to browse, you all just suck people in, about, I didn't know about this, or I didn't know about that. And like I said, you've got somebody like me that's not a cook buying cookbooks to cooking COVID.
Yeah.
So if I'll ask a question on behalf of Larry, who's back here in the room. When he comes, can he do 20 minutes and go back in line and get back in line at the back of the line and come through again?
I mean, honestly, we're not going to enforce that unless there is a line, So, and normally there's a good flow in and out, especially during the week. It's Saturday, and now we've opened up on Sunday from 12 to 6. We're doing shortened hours. We're closed on Monday so that we can kind of put things back together and clean. But no, we're not going to kick anybody out if there's no line.
Did you hear that, Larry? They're not going to kick you out if there's no line. Good to know. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is because, I'm so buried in books and doing my thing. Social influencers are things. I have some friends that are on this call that know what that is, and I know what podcast it is. But how did you know what social influencers and podcast people to recommend Parnassus for their books?
They came to us. The publishers know us because we've built a reputation over, the 9 years. We just celebrated our 9th year yesterday. And so the publishers came to us, and when the publishers came to us for The Good Fight, I had no idea it was going to be this big. I said, yeah, of course we'll do a pre-order campaign. They're local. We want to support them. And I was thinking it's going to be a little, it was thousands of books. So
Wow.
It was just not something we expected. And so it's been a real godsend, because we are definitely, like all small businesses right now, we're struggling. We are losing money. But hopefully our PPP loan will be forgiven, and that will help us a lot. We do have a good amount of savings, so we're pretty solid as far as, we're just dipping into the savings and making sure that our staff is being paid, and we have not had to let anybody go. So that's good.
It's very hard. We can certainly empathize, those of us who have owned a business. Can you tell us a little bit how you all came up with Throwdown Tuesdays?
That was we always tried to kind of talk about, in some ways, what was, if people don't know, publishers do a lay down date for all their big titles, and it's a Tuesdays each week. And that's consistent within the industry. There might be some smaller publishers that'll publish on a different date, or there might be a big release for an odd title here or there that's another day. So all the titles are released on Tuesday, and Anne and our buyers, Kat and Rayanne, will just take the top titles or their favorites and talk about them on Tuesday and do a little video. So every Tuesday you can go to our Facebook page and see the new titles coming out, which is kind of fun.
And if they're not on, people are not on social media, I think we can also see that on your website.
Yes, we can. Well, you can sign up for our email newsletter, and we will. It's in our email newsletter. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And it does connect to our website. And I'm trying to remember if we have a way to like look at it on our website. I'm sorry. I'm always connect through.
I'm sure. So how did Anne come up with the fun dresses stuff that she did?
She was just like, we're all in our sweatpants and jeans and not dressing up. And she's got this closet full of, over the years, of very fancy dress. And she was like, I'll just pull that stuff out and I'll wear it in the videos. And so she's had a real fun time with that. And it makes it a little special. And we just did we called it a holiday special, where people could, come in on a Zoom, sign up for it and come in on the Zoom. And they talked about the titles that they were excited about for the holidays, our buyers and Anne. And so they actually wore formal attire for that, which was
Yay! Well, that will be fun. And has that been done, or is that coming up?
That's been done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the other thing I want to push for you all, since I do this, and then we'll turn it over for more things about books. When you don't know what to get someone, I know gift certificates at Parnassus are always good. Even if you don't read books, there's other great stuff that you all have. But tell people, you can't really see, this is Parnassus Books, about your signed first editions club. What a good gift that would be for people.
Yeah, we do. We've got, I put a couple links into the chat at the very top. There's one to our website, and you'll see a tab that has gifts. And when you scroll down on that, there's some options that you have. And there's also a tab for the first editions club. We've got 3 versions. The one for adult, which every month you get a signed first edition from really fabulous writers, debut and is well established, like Marilyn Robinson. We were so thrilled to be able to get her signed copies from her. And it's kind of a logistical nightmare, with COVID, because normally they would come down and they would sign in the store and we'd have an event. But we had Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jessie. She is living in Brooklyn, in a flat in Brooklyn, and she was sent 950 copies of this book, and she had to sign them all out of her flat and get them boxed back up and shipped back out of her flat. I don't know how she did it. We sent her a big bouquet. I don't know how she did that. But it's really a great program, and you can do it as a gift in 3-month, 6-month, or 12-month subscriptions, or you can sign up for it indefinitely, just sign up for it monthly. And then we have one for young adults. It's called Parnassus Next, and it's a subscription box is kind of the term that they use. So it comes in a really sweet box with crinkle paper and tissue wrapped, and a really nice card with it. So those are all signed too. And then we started one for middle grade readers, or advancing readers, we call it. And those are we're about 3-4 months into that. I think maybe 3 months. So that again is not always going to be signed, but that's a nice. And again, those are offered in 3, 6, and 12-month subscriptions as gifts.
So for those of us who missed, I don't know why I thought that was Thursday night, but in the time of COVID, when I don't go anywhere, I get my calendar messed up. For those of us who missed what's coming out, so what are you recommending these days?
At the store?
Yeah, what would you
Okay.
recommend somebody? I don't know what to get. I don't know what to read. Do you have any preferences? A couple that you would throw out there?
Are you still talking about gifts for people?
Or
We also have. Okay, yeah, we've got the other link that I had is for our online catalog, and we started doing gift bundles. This was another idea of Ann's, and actually a lot of stores have started doing them, which is really great. It's where you get like a special $50 bundle that has some lovely little cute tchotchkes in it, notebooks, or you can do it a cookbook bundle, so it might have a tea towel in it, or an apron. And in our holiday catalog, we've got some really specific ones that show you what titles you can get, along with the gifts that go in it. So, and they're different price ranges. So, yeah. So if you want me to go into kind of the list of titles.
Oh, sure. Or books that are just coming out, or we could talk about what came out today. Which I don't know where Larry.
Oh yeah.
That's what I went to buy today.
What came out today?
Obama's new book, which I told Joyce I think I'm at 150. It's really, really, really good. You think you know everything about this man, and it's fascinating. So
yeah. I haven't had a chance to start reading it yet. He has gotten amazing reviews. The New York Times especially has done a couple of really good reviews of it. So that's huge for us. It was such a logistical nightmare for the publisher because it's such a huge release that we ordered well over 500 copies, and they couldn't ship them all to us at the same time. They had to split everybody's shipment across the country. So we had just enough to fill our pre-orders today, and we're getting, I think, a couple more shipments this week, and then our largest shipment will come next week. So it's a huge deal, and it's really a saving grace for independent bookstores, because we needed a big title like this for the holidays, and it's really wonderful to see that people are ordering it from independent bookstores.
Good.
Yeah.
So what else? What other books are you recommending? Stuff you think would be good.
Do you want me? I'm going to start with just some gifty kind of books, like a couple of cookbooks, and you should talk about the vegan cookbook.
Oh yes, the vegan cooks book. Yeah, I'll do mine after yours that I got today.
We have got a couple of local cookbook authors that have new books, so I wanted to highlight that. I love local authors. So Rob Bell, who is the executive. This is too bad. This is all going to turn out.
We can see it. Seeking the South. We can see
Seeking the South. Yeah, I forgot that this reverses everything. But he is the executive chef at Gray and Dudley. It's finding inspired regional cuisines. It's beautifully illustrated, and we have signed copies. So this is a good one if you want some local cooking. And then, of course, not local cooking, but a local author, Nanit Chauhan. Her new book is Chat, and she's gonna come in later this week and sign stock for us, so you can get signed copies. And of course, this cookbook is a beautiful cookbook too, just really gorgeous illustrations throughout.
So tell me who she is. I've learned if I can't recognize the name.
Yeah, So she is a celebrity chef. She's on Food Network, but she owns Shohan. It is Shohan, right? And she owns 3 restaurants here in town.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I can't. I'm
That's okay.
blanking on the names. That's what I do all the time. Blank on names. Chattable, The Mockingbird, Shohan Ale, and Masala House. Yeah.
Aha. I recognize all of those.
Yeah, and they're really fabulous restaurants if you haven't been there. I mean, they're just fun.
So for the aspiring chef or somebody that really is a foodie, those would be great gifts. Or if you have to send someone to something to someone out of town, that would be awesome. And I bet you mail them there too.
Yes. Yeah. And we are encouraging people to use online as much as they can because, you know, numbers are going up in town.
Yes. And you all take it.
But we're happy to see you in store too. Do you want to talk about the book cookbooks?
Oh, the 2 books. People know me, even with the name like Sarah Lee, I am not a cook. I know how to order things. But my husband has had to go vegan. And so I'm always looking for interesting ways to make plant-based things look good. So I got Oh She Glows, because she's written Oh She Glows cookbook. This is her for dining that has beautiful pictures. I just got this today, and we're going to go through, since it's going to be the 2 of us, maybe 3 or 4 here on Thanksgiving, and pick something that looks really interesting that I'm going to experiment. And I love this. This I Can Cook Vegan. This is like the Dick and Jane of cooking, which makes me happy, you know, when someone assumes I know nothing. So that's going to be fun stuff for me. But, you know, everything looks really good. The pictures look great. Food's all different colors. That, you know, makes it eye appealing.
Yeah. I think the coffee table book for that went on sale today is Dolly's new book, The Song Teller, and this is her lyrics, and it's just a gorgeous, it's heavy and it's beautifully illustrated. You can see that she's got beautiful pictures of herself over the years, along with just great stories behind her songs. There's been a lot of publicity for this book, and we sold a huge amount already on this, so we're ordering more and expect that to be one of our big books for the season. We've kind of on the a little bit lighter side, if you're looking for something for somebody who's not really a reader, we've kind of reconfigured our travel section to really highlight local and hiking and national parks, things that you can travel to that aren't necessarily by plane. But just for example, the 60 hikes within 60 miles of Nashville, books like this you can find, and that's a great thing to give people, so that because a lot of people are out in nature so much more than they have been in a while. So that's something I recommend you come in and look at, is our travel section. We need books that make us laugh, and this went on sale today, A Wealth of Pigeons by Steve Martin and Harry Bliss, the New Yorker cartoonist. They were on NPR this morning, if you guys listen. These are so Steve Martin in the way that the comedy is, and they're usually one panel cartoons, and they're just hilarious. It's just a really fun thing to keep by your side and pick up every once in a while and read. And it's a great gift for somebody to make them laugh if you need something for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's something a little bit more, it'll take you a little longer to read, is David Sedaris's The Best of Me. This is collection over the years of what he considers his best pieces. Most of them have been published before, so a lot of them you might be familiar with, but he's just so funny. And I'll do a little plug here for audio. we can sell audiobooks on Libro FM, which is a competitor to Audible and Amazon. It's the same, pretty much the same price, but you can choose your favorite independent bookstore, I mean, anywhere across the country. And the proceeds from the sale, we get a nice little chunk of change from the sales of that. It's called Libro FM. You could do a subscription to them, or you can just buy one audio at a time and download them through an app, just like Audible, and listen to some really wonderful stuff. And if you've never listened to David Sedaris, read his own things. He's just got such a voice. I can't read him anymore without hearing his voice, because I've listened to him so much on audio. He's just a blast. He's so funny. So. I also set aside a few children's books because I'm sure for gift giving. This just went, I can't remember if this went on sale today or last week, but it just went on sale, and it's Ruby Bridges, This Is Your Time. It is her little book. It's a tiny little book, but it's a really wonderful book, and she's been in the news a lot lately. And so it's got illustrations from when she was, the child that was highlighted in Arkansas that helped integrate the schools there, and she was immortalized in the painting. What is his name? Again, this is my
COVID. It's 2020.
Yeah. Well, you've seen this painting. This is just a portion of it, but it's really wonderful. I'll think of it in 2 seconds after I start talking about other titles. But she just, it's not a lot of text, so it's a really wonderful thing to read with your child, or have your child read. This is the teacher that ended up teaching her all by herself, and because the parents wouldn't allow anybody else to be in the same class as her. And this teacher was just instilled a love of learning and treated her so special that they had a lifelong relationship. So this book is a really sweet, wonderful gift to give somebody. And the other one that I really loved and read earlier this year, I was lucky enough to hear Ibram Kendi and Jason Reynolds talk at a book conference before we got locked down back in February. Ibram Kendi wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist, and that was one of the huge bestsellers this summer. And he teamed up with Jason Reynolds, the best-selling young adult children and middle grade children's author, to write a young adult version of that. And I wish this was something that had been available when I was in school. It is, it just goes over the history of racism in this country. And it's written in such a clear and wonderful and illuminating way. And it just opened my eyes to things that I had not, I thought I knew a lot of this history, but I didn't. No, this is a great gift for a kid, and it's even wonderful to read yourself. So
I read Stamped from the beginning this year, and I wish I had read that when I was taught American history.
Yes.
He's just an amazing way of taking history and applying it to systemic racism. So I have not the other one.
He's been to town a couple times too, and he's a really, if he ever comes back and you get a chance to hear him speak, he's pretty amazing. So this book is that book kind of distilled down for a younger reader.
Right.
It's really fabulous. And then he took it even one step or a few steps further for the anti-racist baby board book. Oh, sweet. So Ibram Kendi wrote this, and it's illustrated by Ashley Luka Shavinsky. So that's a great little gift for a new baby. And then I have to talk about Ann Patchett's picture books.
Yes. So,
Yeah. So her second one came out this in September, A Scapegoat, and this is all set on a family farm, just like the first book, which was Landslide, which the first one talked about elections, and this one talks about blaming, someone else for something you did. And this poor goat has been blamed for everything on the farm, and they finally realize that he hasn't been doing anything wrong at all. So it's a really sweet little read.
I'm buying all of her books for babysitting when I have grandsons over here to read.
Oh, good.
We're going to teach manners through Ann Patchett.
Yes, exactly. And then a lot of you might be familiar with Margaret Rankle and her brother Billy Rankle, who illustrated her fabulous book, Late Migrations, one of my favorite books of the last few years. And Billy is an amazing collage artist. He has written a children's book with Diana Farid, and this is gorgeously illustrated. He was so cute at his event. He was just like, I illustrated a book about breathing during COVID. It's just so he was a little chagrined, but it's a gorgeous book, and you can see how it's illustrated for kids to learn about breath and breathing, and it's really, really beautiful. And we've got signed copies. He's also did a beautiful little limited edition broadside that we still have that you can frame, that he signed for that. So he's a fabulous artist. And
Do you want to talk a little bit about John Meacham
yeah,
and his book?
I was just pulled a stack of nonfiction. So obviously John has been very, very busy this year. He wrote a book about the last words of Jesus earlier this year. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on that name too.
I've got it. I can go look at it.
It's okay. But the book that of the moment that he has out now is His Truth Goes Marching On, which he wrote in cooperation with John Lewis. It's a biography of him, and it's just a fabulous book. We have signed copies, of course, and he comes in periodically to personalize if you want to get something. You'll see on our website we have signed copies, and you'll see under that some of them you can get personalized. So Anne's books, obviously, you can get personalized. John's books, you can get personalized. Margaret Rankle. This, this is a great gift book for the holidays. And it's been obviously one of our top sellers this year. We also have some other wonderful local authors that have put out books recently that are in paperback. Molly Secors has just written and published a book called The White Privilege Pop Quiz. A lot of you might be familiar with her. She is just kind of a Renaissance woman. She does a lot of, she's done documentaries, things like that. And this book has just been lauded by lots of people in town and out of town. And it's a really great book to pick up and just kind of check yourself and see how you're doing. And again, she will come in and personalize, and we've got signed copies. So that. We are so lucky to have Steve Harush on our staff. He was a former writer for The Scene. He's edited a couple of books, and this is the second one. The first one was a collection of writings from Jim Ridley, who was a beloved columnist for The Scene and editor for The Scene. And this book is Greetings from New Nashville. And this is, it's subtitled How to Make a Sleepy Southern Town How the Sleepy Southern Town Became Its City. It's a collection from writers and journalists in town here over the years from kind of the early 2000s until present day, kind of explaining it through or illustrating how we became the city we are. There's like Ben Folds, Steve Cavendish, who writes for the Scene, Ron Wynn, who writes for I think the Tennessean and the Scene, and Ann Patchett writes in here. So it's and Margaret Wrinkle contributed too. So this book is a really wonderful book that we've needed for a long time. A lot of people have always asked, I need a book about present day Nashville, about how Nashville became the city that it is. And Vanderbilt Press just published this in September, well, actually October, I think. So this is still new and a great gift. So obviously Steve, he works for us now. He's our marketing director, and he is in charge of our social media, and the person who does that. So so it's a really great book to have. Still, and we just talked about the Barack Obama, but on the nonfiction side too, a lot of you are probably looking for gifts for men in your family. We've got a really great bookseller that I hope some of you know, Andy Brennan.
Mm-hmm.
He is so good at recommending historical books. He's actually so well regarded. John Meacham had him help set up his home library. So one of the books that he recommended is Agent Sonia by Ben McIntyre. Ben McIntyre has a history of writing really engrossing narrative nonfiction. This is about a woman during the Second World War that was living in the Cotswolds, had a slight accent, was kind of living a quiet life with her family, her husband and kids. And it turns out she was a communist spying on the English, and she had a whole network of people working for her. And so this is just a fascinating profile of a really interesting woman, and it can be obviously read by both men and women. Andy has been hand selling this like crazy, so I think this will be a good one for the holidays.
He's great, because when I come in, he'll say, Larry wants this book, and he's always right, you know.
Yeah.
Even if I try to read it first, Larry's going to take it out of my hand. So he's got a real
I often just go through kind of a few books that I know on that in that vein, and then I'm just like, if they don't want any of those, I just have to go find Andy and get him to talk to them, and he will always find something for them. So he's a great asset for us. And speaking of him on the fiction side, Robert Harris is a wonderful writer. He kind of broke out with a book many years ago called Fatherland that was kind of an alternate history of what if the Nazis had won, and what would the world be like if that happened. So his new book is also a novel of World War II, and he's always really fun to read. It's kind of bookended by Fatherland, but he writes in different venues and different historical periods, and just does a really great job. I know one book that I read of his was set during in Pompeii during the explosion of Vesuvius. Really, really great. Lots of fun to read. Also, let me grab these books real quick. Talking about ancient history, I listened on audio to Beowulf, this new translation by Maria Davana Headley. I had never read Beowulf, so I know Seamus Heaney's translation is supposed to be the best, but I loved how she did this. It's in the modern vernacular. She uses alliteration rather than rhymes. And she, for example, instead of using hark or listen, she says bro. You know, so it really is just very, very modern and really engrossing, and just really thought it was a great way to introduce somebody to a classic piece of literature, and mythology, and really bring it down to modern day in a way. Obviously, it's very fantastical, but I really enjoyed this. And in paperback, we've got a couple of really good books that are out now. Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Water Dancer is just a gorgeous telling of Harriet Tubman is the one of the main characters in it, and but it's written from the point of view of a slave that that escapes and is recaptured, and escapes again, and then works with the Underground Railroad, and becomes involved with Harriet Tubman. There's some magical realism in here, and it's just such an engrossing story. I know the rights have been sold. I'm pretty sure it's Oprah Winfrey that's doing this, her production company. But he is writing the screenplay for it. He's very much wants to be in control of it, and he should be. It's so beautifully written. So I love that. And this one has been out for a little while, but I love Kevin Wilson. And if you guys have not, yeah, it's such a book full of such heart. Nothing to see here. I started reading it, and like I sometimes do with books, where I'm like, I'm not sure I like these characters, but as the book goes on, I'm just like, oh my God, just love it. And the weird premise of this book is this young woman, an old high school friend of hers, asked her to come and take care of her kids. She's married to a high-powered U.S. senator. And these kids, the thing that makes them hard to take care of is they spontaneously burst into flames if they get angry. And I know it sounds weird, but it's such a wonderful book, and I really highly recommend it. Kevin Wilson is a professor in the University of the South, and he's written several books, but this is my favorite one so far. And his Family Fang was a big bestseller too. He grew up in Tullahoma, Tennessee, so he's a Tennessee boy, and he's made it big with this.
I'd love to see them do a movie. I'd love to see who they got to portray the politicians. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I really loved the characters in this book.
Can I stop for a second? Anybody have any questions, thoughts? I don't see anything in chat yet. Or if Joyce needs to unmute, we can do that. Otherwise, just keep pressing on there, Karen.
And I can't.
If anybody wants to questions at some point, Sarah Lee, we can open up the videos. If people want to turn the videos and raise their hands, we can do it like that.
Okay.
Otherwise, Karen can just keep talking.
Keep going.
I got a few more fiction books, and again on the local thing, the Jenny Field's new book, Atomic Love, is really a page turner. It's based very loosely on a woman from history that worked on the atomic bomb during World War II. But this takes place after the war is over, and a man that she had been involved with during that time comes back into her life, and you don't know if he's working for the U.S. or, I mean, he's British. If he's on the right side. So it's got a lot of it's a little bit risque in some ways. I mean, you got a love story in there that's gone wrong, but it's also a mystery, and it's really, really fun to read. Did you read it, Sarah Lee?
I did. It's one of my favorite books. We give ourselves instead of giving each other books, we give each other a list of our favorite books. It's supposed to be 10. With Larry, it's usually the top 25 books of the year, but she's in my top 10. I love that book. And it
Yeah.
made me dig some more, about the science project and all of the atomic energy. So
Yeah.
I've read all of Jenny's books.
Yeah.
So I like her a lot.
Yeah. And then Alice Randall's Black Bottom Saints. This is such a interesting setup because it's a series. It's something you don't have to read from cover to cover. You can sit down and just pick through it slowly. She has taken the point of view of this wonderful character from history. Well, all of them are from history. All these profiles are from real people through time that were involved in Detroit during the first part of the last century up until kind of the 70s. Ziggy was a columnist, a gossip columnist. He was a host at nightclubs. He was also had this wonderful dance school for girls. And so he interacted with so many people throughout his life. And so Alice feels like these are the Detroit Saints, even though not all of them lived in Detroit, but they as I said, they interacted at certain points in Detroit. So, we're talking about Eartha Kitt, and lots of Sammy Davis Jr., people like that but a lot of people that you've never heard of. And she kind of has an introductory paragraph for each of these that is from the point of view of one of the girls that was in his dance school for girls. And it is loosely based on kind of her sister, Alice Randall's sister, because this is something that she knows that community, she knows the history there, and as Alice does, she researches and she knows things already. So it's just a really wonderful read that you could just enjoy over a long period of time.
I enjoyed it because it's fiction. It's almost like essays. You could pick it up and put it down, pick it up and put it down. And I was so happy to see it featured in the New York Times book review section recently, which was great.
Yeah.
Reviews there.
Yeah, and it's one of the books that Anne just keeps talking about whenever people ask her what her favorite books have been this year. She always mentions that book. And the other book that she mentions is Jesse's Transcendent Kingdom. She's an author that is this is her second book, and she is such a great writer. And we were so happy to be able to get signed copies for the First Editions Club.
And I understand the book awards are going to be the nominees or the awards are going to be listed. Do you have any inside information?
The National Book Awards, the list has been, the long list has been announced, but I forget if they call it the short list or long list. Okay. It will be. The awards are this week. They're Thursday night. The Booker is being announced this week too, which is another big award that comes out. And the New York Times will be doing their 100 list this week, and next week they will list their top 10. So it's a big week for books.
And people need to remember they can buy them from you.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
I hope we will have all of them.
One book I bet you had that I meant to mention that the local author sent to me, South Carolina published, is The Southern Wildlife Writer.
Yeah.
In Beck. I know you know him. This is a great book.
Good.
Little bit of reminded me a little bit of Margaret Wrinkle. It doesn't have her emotions in it, but it's a great description of wildlife So Rob's such a good writer. But anyway, we Larry and I've been reading that to talk about on our video stuff. So that's I wanted to share that too.
Yeah. Are
So,
there any questions from anybody?
questions?
So if everyone anyone who wants to open their videos, let's go ahead and do that now. And if I need to give permission.
I have a question.
Go,
So
Grace.
my
Hey,
question
Grace.
is actually just logistical in that I got a book from y'all to pick up. How long do I have before I have to pick it up?
If you paid for it, it's there for a good long while.
Fantastic, because I live far away from y'all, and I did a pre-order for my friend Guy Cops and Butts book, The Pursuit of Happy. Wait, what's it? The Pursuit of, or something Happiness. It's a comic book that y'all should look into because it's like very like feel good. Comics,
yeah, we did an interview with him, or an event with him, a virtual one, which was fun. You can always, if you feel like you're not going to get there, you can call us and you can have us shipped to you too. So, yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, y'all, for that logistical question.
Oh no, great. Any other? I'm so excited. I love hearing about new books and things to purchase. Other questions? Sarah Lingo, I thought you were texting me one.
Well, I have a couple of questions. Karen, I would love to talk to you. I work for an organization called Sister Cities of Nashville, and we're always looking for different ways for people to engage and learn about the 9 different cities across the world that we have a relationship with. How often do you partner with other nonprofits, and what kind of things do you do?
Like I said, we gave some money this summer to Gideon's Army. Our biggest partnership, in normal non-COVID times, is with the Downtown Public Library in Humanities, Tennessee, where we do our Salon at 615 series, which brings huge name authors to town. That partnership has been really, really strong. We were going to launch and announce our Parnassus Foundation this spring, where we're giving, and we have been doing it anyway, but we are giving books to schools, trying to raise funds for that. But so far we've had some funds that we're doing that on our own, but we didn't feel like it was really good to kind of announce it now, because we want to partner that with bringing authors to school too, along with that to Title I schools. So we have given some donations, and I think we got one author before the shutdown to some of the schools. We usually, every Small Business Saturday, we work with other local businesses to do Indie Nash Giving. We kind of set that up, and we didn't get it coordinated this year because I felt like it would be hard to call other small businesses and say, do you want to give a portion of your sales when you're struggling, to a charity? But we are giving over the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 5% of our sales to Nashville Adult Literacy Council. If anybody approaches us, we give donations for silent auctions. We're always trying to give back.
Well, the good part is I wouldn't be asking you for money, so just more of an educational thing. I had a second question. What is the most popular fiction book you guys have sold this year?
Fiction book, that's a good question. Because we have all our first editions, which are big chunks, at that point when we send those out. So honestly, I don't know. I haven't looked at kind of the whole year of sales. I know we did, probably Black Bottom Saints is one of the biggest ones, because of the local sale, on top of that being one of our first editions picks. That always kind of skews the sales of a book.
American Dirt, I'm sure you sold a lot of those.
Oh, we sold a lot of that, and we still have signed copies of that too.
Right.
But that was a first editions pick also. Yeah.
So Mary Catherine, did I see you with a hand raised up? Maybe no.
I don't think I had my hand raised. I just turned on my camera.
Okay. Sorry, you get called on when you do that.
Yeah, my bad.
Other questions? Go ahead, Sarah Lee.
Also saw, if you're looking for a good gift for the holidays, good spiritual gift, that River Jordan has a new book out about Celtic Christianity. And
Yeah, it's a kind of a combination of travel and spirituality.
and she always writes really well. And H.A. Levine has a book out about reading the Bible, I think from a Hebrew perspective and the Christian perspective. Two different, she and someone else wrote those. Her stuff's always great. Those are two of my favorites. So I saw 2 new books from them today.
Yeah, we love River. She used to be a bookseller too at Parnassus, but we were lucky to have her. She's published several books. Yeah.
Yeah, Praying for Strangers was a biggie. That was great.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anybody does, no one else has one, I want to just remind everybody on Thursday evening, we're going to do a book review with Sherry Deutschman to discuss her book, Lunch with Lucy. You can sign up online at WPCTN.com. We have one more program scheduled before the end of the year. It doesn't mean we won't throw one in, but Sarah, do you want to talk about that one a little bit since we're partnering with Sister Cities?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We're doing, in July, we did a Women in Politics Around the World with our sister city, Magdeburg, Germany. And in December, we're going to do one with Belfast, Northern Ireland, to talk about what it's like to serve as a female elected official in another country, just kind of compare and contrast what it's like to be a woman in leadership here in Nashville versus in the UK. The Belfast is a little unique where they had a period in their history called the Troubles, which was between the Catholics and the Protestants, and kind of how, I mean, it's different here in the U.S., but, we're kind of going through a time of great change and trying to figure out how to come together. And I think that what Belfast experienced and the way that they came together after that time in their history would be really interesting to talk about. So we'll probably talk about that too.
Okay, thank you. Sarah Lee, you're always fabulous.
Oh, thank
Karen,
you.
I'm so excited that you're open. I've had friends shipping me books, getting books from Parnassus. It's absolutely wonderful, and I love local bookstores. I don't think I've ever ordered a book online, but I mean,
we like that.
So thank you. If there's no more questions, thank you so much to everyone for joining us. We have recorded this. We will have it up on our Facebook page probably by the end of the week. So you will be able to listen to it again if you want to go back and pick out some particular books.
And they will bring them to your car. You don't want them to be mailed, but they will bring stuff to your car and pop your trunk. It's great. Done that many times. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Karen. Bye-bye.